Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I am of course your host, Jack Knives. Today I will be reviewing the Peacock horror movie, They/Them. They/Them takes place in a conversion camp for LGBTQ to be converted into straight people. While there, the camp members are experiencing their own forms of trauma. At the same time, a mysterious masked figure is appearing and killing people in the camp. So now, those same people have to come together and figure out who this masked person is and why they're killing who they're killing. This is kind of hard to talk about. I kind of try to tiptoe around issues involving gender politics or, transgenderism or non-binary stuff, because I'm not necessarily an expert, although I am an ally, I will say that. I do think this is not the best representation of that. There are so many issues I have with this movie. The one huge standout, I will say, is the main actor. They are very, very good. I was kind of mixed about this movie. I hadn't really heard much about it, and to be honest, the concept on paper seems really interesting. The idea of people within the LGBT plus community dealing with mental and physical at the same time, that's an interesting concept. Using your trauma as a weapon to fight off the other trauma. Like, that's what it should have been. That's not what it was, though. It was kind of a disappointment, honestly. I was expecting a lot more. To be honest, I was really just expecting anything. The main leader of the camp is played by Kevin Bacon, and he does all right. To be honest, there's not really much to this movie. The one thing that it got to me on a personal level. I've never been to conversion camp, but I've heard very many stories, and I've known people that have, and I've seen documentaries, and this is what's so messed up. So what's messed up about the movie is the stuff in the conversion camp, like them re-experiencing their trauma, is more graphic and more scary and more horrifying than the horror. How can I be afraid of this when this is scarier? It doesn't come off right. It doesn't pack the punch that it should. They should be at least on implied. Like, if it was implied, the trauma that happened. Like, they didn't outright say everything. They didn't outright show everything, but, like, brief flashes and stuff like that. And, like, say the killer was going around killing someone, okay? And it flashes, like, one of the people in the camp. They see this happening, and it triggers them of an incident of their past, and they kind of start having the same reaction they did as a kid, like maybe they start shaking or something like that. That's a reasonable response to a thing like that, like re-triggering their emotions, and then later they could use that triggering moment as a, no, I didn't let that take me then, I'm not going to let it take me now, and then kind of fight back, something along those lines. Like, that's what you kind of expect going into this, but you don't get any of that. It's kind of a whodunit, but you figure it out within the first 10 minutes. It doesn't work as a horror film because the majority of the people that are hurt aren't people that you give a crap about, so it's like, it just fails. It just fails on every level. I'm sorry, but it does. Is it nice to see some sort of some fragment of representation of LGBT, especially in the horror community, which the horror community has always been open arms to everyone? Yes, it's great to see it. It's just not this way. I've seen it done better. I've seen it done really to this level of laziness. Like, it seems as though they had the concept and they didn't have any idea of what to do with it. And it's just flat. And that's the best way I could put it. It's flat. It's not for horror fans. It's not for people who are looking for LGBT representation either. It's just, I could see why this didn't get released in theaters, because I don't see how this could have at all done successfully in the box office. Granted, there is a little bit to this. Very, very, very little. But there is little positives. As I said, I will say some of the cinematography is really good, especially when it shows the zooming in of the camera, of the focus of the traumas experienced through the individuals. It does kind of touch on subjects that maybe might be a little too big for this kind of a movie. It just kind of exists. I think that's kind of the worst thing I can say, is it didn't entertain me. That's probably the worst thing it can do. It didn't bore me, it just existed, I guess. I give they, them 1 out of 5. Have you seen They/Them? Let me know in the comments down below. And I won't see you next time. I'll see you for Jack-O-Ween.